Hi, I'm Barry Zworestein. Recently I put up some thoughts around whether it works, whether it doesn't work to actually put away memories, lock away experiences, encapsulate trauma. And my thoughts were that maybe it's probably quite important for healing and to move on constructively in life to think about what things you approach, what things you deal with, the grief, the loss, the redefinition of oneself, anger, and that maybe locking it away wasn't a good problem, wasn't a good solution. Shortly afterwards, I got a message from somebody who really put it very well to me. He said, people came back from war, whether it was World War II or Vietnam, and they had horrific experiences that they had experienced. And what they did was they encapsulated, they locked it away in a room, and they simply got on with their life. And the question raised was, why not? And giving that some thought, I think, yeah, absolutely, there's something quite valid about that. And what came to me was that, over the years of sitting with numbers of veterans, I've sat with men who've actively been engaged in operations and killing and don't have an issue with it. They've managed to integrate it and really don't have anything encapsulated or any territory that needs to be dug into and dealt with. They are fine. And on the other hand, I've sat with men who have watched bodies being offloaded off choppers as they sat in HQ and found the experience extremely traumatizing. Some and numbers of whom were actually made TPI, which is totally permanently incapacitated because of the experience. And so the question is, what really causes trauma? And do we really need to deal with everything that we experience? Thinking about this, what came to me was that I think what's critical is the question whether what we have locked away is impacting on our lives. Now, my image is always that there's this room, it's got so many gigabytes in it, and every experience has a certain charge to it. It might be a 10 gigabyte, a 50 gigabyte, 100 gigabyte, and there's a certain amount of room that you can place, that you can use to fill in that space. So if you've got a whole lot of 100 gigabyte experiences, well, maybe a little bit tricky. If you've got numbers of small gigabyte experiences, maybe manageable. So the question we ask ourselves, I guess, is what is the impact that everything I'm shoving into a room has on me? And I think they're the things that certainly as contractors for the veteran organization that we always look at is, what's your anxiety like? What's your stress like? What's your depression like? What's your alcohol consumption like? What's your lifestyle like? What are your relationships like? What's your self-care like? Now, if none of those are being impacted on, well, maybe you don't have too much of a problem. Maybe there's no need at this point in time to go digging into rooms that can remain closed. I think the other thing that comes to me is also the chronology aspect, that as we age, maybe we can't run as fast or run as hard or do the things we do to make ourselves feel good. Maybe as physical limitation begins to impact on our functioning, we're less capable of keeping that door locked. Now, I always think that I've called it claymores, or often imagine it as something quite bestial that's in that room, and it gathers force over years and it starts to push against the doors. And as our resilience begins to drop, a lot of this can come crashing out with disastrous consequences. So there's also, if you are not experiencing impact currently, do you need to be aware of what's in that room and keep track of it as you age? And keep a very sensitive look on, all the aspects, your sleeping, your eating, your mental state, your depression, your mood, your stress, anxiety, alcohol intake. Are you keeping fit? Are you letting go? So at the end of the day, I think, put things in a room. We don't need to dig through everything. I've sat with numbers of vets, and the most significant thing they carry is they watch doorways in restaurants. They maybe sleep with a stick next to their bedside, maybe slightly hyper alert and hit and flinch when there's a loud noise. Well, for me, those are functional. They needn't necessarily impact on our lives and our relationships, our ability to work and connect with others. So the challenge to all of you out there is have a think about that room. Think about its impact on you. You can always check out your mood. There's a wonderful easy to use questionnaire called the DASS, DASS. You can do that, and often you can find things that can score it online, and you can get a fairly objective measure of where your mood is. So check it out. Think about yourselves. If you feel that your lifestyle is being impacted on, then really think about what you want to do, and whether you need to get some help, and whether you need to start addressing some of the things that are starting to impact on your life. And if you're cool with it, if it's not impacting, then leave it alone. Let sleeping dogs lie, as they say. Okay, so on that note, wishing you all a good day. Think about those claymores in your room, and move forward constructively and positively. Cheers, until next time. Bye.